Well, hello. Welcome, everybody, National Cartoonist Society members. I'm Jamar Nicholas, part of the Philadelphia chapter, and also the author-illustrator of, it's over here, Leon Extraordinary, my series at Scholastic on the graphics imprint. I've been an NCS member for like maybe a good year and change now, and I'm really excited to bring some new programming to the society, and I hope you enjoy what I have in store. So this is all a test kitchen, you guys. We all kind of fly by the seat of our pants, and I'm totally doing that tonight. But I'd like to start off this thing that I'm calling studio visits with just doing quick spotlights on NCS members. And I've been a fan of this person for a long time. And we've been trying to play tag by talking to each other. And I thought it would be a great place to start with bringing in Wes Molebash, who I'm a big fan of. And he's got a new project out that I think we'd love to hear about. So why don't we just get it started? So let's bring him in. Hey, Wes.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm doing all right, man.
We're almost so close to the turd. Well, hello. I didn't see you there.
Right.
We're not going to be that corny, but it's really great speaking to you, Wes. And are you affiliated with the chapter?
Yeah, I'm with the Great Lakes chapter.
Oh, wow. That sounds so cool. Yeah. And how many people in your chapter? Is it a big group? I didn't even put you on the spot.
It's a big group, and I think we have regular chapter meetings, and we usually have, I want to say, between 6 and 10, sometimes 15 people on the Zoom calls, but it's bigger than that, obviously. So not everyone can make the meetings, but yeah.
That's fantastic. One of the biggest things I love about this is just kind of this sense of camaraderie, and even on a local level, just, kind of commiserating with people who understand the pain that we all go through.
I always get energized after the meetings. Like I'm ready to get going,
I love it. I know. Me too. So, Wes, I'm going to hit you with, we're not going to be here all day.
Cool.
Because we all have deadlines. But I've prepared 5 quick questions, kind of like a live salvo of questions to throw at you, and answer them as you see fit. You don't have to spend a lot of time on them, but this is a great place to start. So let's try it. Are you ready?
Yep.
And there's no safety net. You haven't seen any of these.
All right. Let's go.
All right. No pressure. All right. First one. What's the best piece of advice you've ever gotten?
Okay, so the best advice I ever received was over 20 years ago now, from Jeff Millett, who draws Fraz. Mm-hmm. And he was mentoring me in my early 20s because I wanted to be a syndicated cartoonist. Yeah. And I was, I was sending him my cartoons, and he was critiquing my stuff, and he was making me a better cartoonist. He was very, very hospitable with his time, very generous. And I just kept coming up with every reason I was scared to share my stuff. And he said, Wes, there's a lot of obstacles on your way to being a syndicated cartoonist. Don't be one yourself. And I have just held on to that. I feel like that has applied to every creative endeavor I've ever pursued. Yeah. And he's absolutely right. You can't control most of the obstacles, but the biggest one you can control, and that's your attitude and how you approach it.
Oh, wow. That's so great. Because, it's funny that a lot of amateurs or hobbyists don't understand how important getting out of your own way is. Yeah. I mean, that's such a really strong piece of advice. Thank you for that. I'm going to put that one in my pocket. I love it. All right. So I think you'll enjoy this one. Tell us about your new project, Wes.
Yeah. So my first book, Travis Davenport for the Win. It's the first in a 4-book series. There's the cover.
What?
And it came out from First Second. It came out the end of March, and I've been running all over the place trying to tell people about it here the last few weeks. But it's a lot of fun. It's about this kid, Travis. He's kind of a ne'er-do-well, 11-year-old, super smart. He doesn't have a lot of friends. In fact, his only friend is a robot version of himself that he created named TravBot. And but he finds out he's the hero, the legendary hero of a kingdom in another dimension, and he's got to learn how to fill those shoes. And I like to tell the kids at school visits, I say, spoiler alert, he's not very good at being a hero. So, but it's like I said, it's the first in a 4-book series. It's really shaped up. I've been surprised by. It's really shaping up to be quite an epic story. It's a middle grade book series, but I think there's a lot of meat there for any age to be enjoyed by just about any age.
I want to hang on this for a bit, Wes, because this is very exciting, and we're both kind of in the same space now. And I think this might be of interest to a lot of the members because we're seeing a really strong transition from maybe like newspaper strips and syndicated things into people picking up book deals. So maybe can you answer like what kind of changes or challenges have you seen kind of transitioning from being a strip artist for a long time into doing something like long form graphic novels?
It is a challenge. And did you experience that too? Because I know you did web comics and stuff like that for a long time. You go from so the web comics that I was creating were still in that daily strip style. I really kind of stuck to the newspaper format. And I got really good at that 3 to 4 panel formula. Like in my head, I could, get a gag. If I come up with a punchline and I could get the 2 to 3 panels to set it up pretty quickly. So I had to learn a whole new way of telling a story in the comic format. I had to sort of adapt, and I don't know that if I've figured it out or not. It's been fun though, and I think the thing that kind of going back to the advice Jeff Millett gave me, I really avoided making a graphic novel. When I first pitched this, it was a picture book, and then it became a illustrated chapter book, like Captain Underpants kind of, or Big Nate, even, where like you have comics, but they're not the main thing. It's kind of interspersed throughout. And then finally bit the bullet on making a graphic novel. And the reason I put it off is because I was scared to death of the workload. I knew it would take a lot of work, and I didn't know if I could make a 180-page comic. And then I ended up making a almost 300-page one.
It sneaks up on you, doesn't it? That's weird.
Yeah. So anyway, it ended up like it's a new thing. I stepped outside my comfort zone and ended up just falling in love with the medium. And I try to be very clear. Like I didn't do graphic novels because I couldn't hack it as a comic strip artist. It was time to do something new. It was time to stretch myself, and I've always loved graphic novels. Just going back to discovering Bone in my teens, before graphic novels were a thing, but knowing that kind of storytelling could exist in the comic strip, the comic format, the larger comic format, that excited me. And so you see that a lot now. So and maybe one more question. I don't want to eat up our time, but I'm very intrigued by all of this. How about because you have a multi-book deal in the series, right? How does that feel like, kind of like looking down a barrel of like several hundred more pages versus like doing, a week of strips? It's like the same thing, but it's in a different package. It's like winning the lottery and getting it all at one time, or getting weekly installments. I actually find some solace in it, I think, or some comfort. Like I'm the kind of guy that I work better when there's expectations over my head. And so when I have editors I need to please, I have deadlines I need to meet, and I've been very lucky to have awesome editors and art directors, and the whole team at First Second has just been awesome. But I think just having that has helped me. I'm very routine oriented. Having a system and having, like my editor. So like we're penciling book 3 right now, and he's broken the whole book down into have this amount of pages done by this date and this amount done. And I'm sure that's how your editor works too. But just having that laid out for me helps me. And I actually feel less of the burden than when it was just me and I was putting the pressure on myself to be X amount of strips ahead, and then you fall behind and you justify it somehow, or all those things that get in the way of being productive when you're the only person who's holding yourself accountable. So yeah, I feel like the contract and the long book deal has been. I know some people could see how that could be a little scary, but for me, it's been kind of helpful.
Oh, I love it. Great, thanks, Wes. Those are great answers. All right, let's move on. What was the first comic strip you created?
Man, okay. Okay, I don't even know if it's the first one I created, but it's the first one I remember is in elementary school. And I loved the Warner Brothers Looney Tunes cartoons, right? I love that world that they created. And Hanna-Barbera, too. So Hanna-Barbera and Looney Tunes, to me, I equate them more together than I did Disney. Disney was just, I don't know, Disney was its own thing. But there was just wild, wacky worlds in both, and they somehow coexisted. They would figure out ways, like Hanna-Barbera had like the wacky races and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress. The point is, I created this whole cast of characters, and a lot of them were just like based off of, Looney Tunes characters and stuff. And there were these two characters I gravitated to. There's a little dog named Spike, and he had his owner named Andy. And Andy was kind of a doofus, and Spike was always pulling pranks on him and stuff. And so those were the characters I used to draw for my friends in elementary school. And I draw comic strips, they weren't really great looking, but they had panels, and there was a joke at the end, and I would pass those out to my teachers and stuff. So yeah, that was the first one I can remember.
Wow, that's fantastic. Did you sell them? Because I always hear those kind of stories too.
Like, I remember trying to sell in junior high, trying to sell a drawing of Goofy to somebody.
You said trying.
Yeah. Well, I was like saying, I'll sell it to you for 50 cents. And the guy's like, it's not worth 50 cents. And I was haggling with this kid. I was like, this is totally worth 50 cents. And we went to the teacher. We had a substitute, and I went to him to say, is this worth 50 cents? And he was like, well, not to me. And I'm like, you're done. I'm done with you professionally.
Oh, that's fantastic. We start so early. I love it. All right, Wes, we're going to start wrapping up. I have a couple more questions for you. Okay. Cool. Tell us about your studio. Where are you working these days?
I work wherever I can find a chair, honestly. Right now we're in my day job. I have a design job, and this is probably the most creative space I have. I've got all my Funko Pops and everything gathered around, and I got a stack of graphic novels. But at home, I don't do a lot of work here on the cartoon, on my comics. But at home, what used to be my studio is now our kids' playroom. So I tell people my studio is the recliner in my living room, and I've got my iPad. I've been very thankful for this thing. It's made, it makes everything very flexible. Sometimes I live in a small town, and there's a Greasy Spoon restaurant across the street. Sometimes I'll go over there if I need to get away from the kids for a little bit, but.
Oh, wow, that's cool. Yeah, I love it. And being able to pick up your desk basically and move anywhere with it is really beneficial these days. All right, last question. Wes, where can members find you outside of the NCS? Any links?
I feel like I'm pretty easy to find. You can, my website is just wesmolebash.com. And then you can find me on just about every social media platform. It's the Wes Molebash. And so Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that.
Awesome. Wes, you were a fantastic guinea pig. I applaud you. Thank you so much.
Do what I can, Jamar. Do what I can.
This is supposed to spark conversation. So I hope the members reach out to you, and we can keep the dialogue going. Yeah, this is fantastic. Awesome. Thank you, everybody, for joining in, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care. Nothing's impossible.
Nothing is.